Are you going? We are live.
I see.
We are live, Senate Finance back, and we have, I can get back to my page, on the agenda 237, which is an act relating to prescribing by doctoral level psychologists. We walked through that bill last week with Katie. And going through it, I think we have it because it's setting up a new specialty, but I can't find any fee in it. It just recognizes that they might need a fee. And I'm assuming it might be the $100 that they just did with the optometrist. And there might be a fee. Well, that would be there might be a fee for the extra. No, there would only be the registration fee, but they haven't set one yet. So we have it. We don't have a fee to approve. Senator Brock had asked for the limits where they couldn't prescribe to people who were pregnant, to children, and to people over 80. And here comes Senator Brock. So I won't have to explain his concerns. This is 237, prescribing by doctoral level psychologists.
Mm-hmm.
And since realizing that they will have to be working under a psychiatrist who is an MD and will thus have access to the medical records file, I'm feeling better. I was a no vote, but I was not clear on that fact in health and welfare. It's been a little less chaotic in here. So just trying to get through all of the last week or so. And their subject matter tends to be more homogeneous and things run together more than they do in here. So I'm looking for, are we ready to vote this out?
That we deleted the over 80 piece?
We haven't. And we were told that it was part of a compromise between the psychologist and the psychiatrist. I assume that geriatrics would get put in with pediatrics.
Well, if there's some reasonable, cogent reason for doing it, I can understand it. But it is arbitrary, just as arbitrary as the same age restrictions that we see with other professions, such as the judiciary that we got rid of.
Would anyone on the sidelines like to answer that?
Sure, I'd love to. Stephanie Winters, I'm the Deputy Director of the Vermont Medical Society. I'm also the Executive Director of the Vermont Psychiatric Association. I did send you all an email. I know you get a million of them, but just outlining some of the key physiological changes and mechanisms as we age. I would say this is not anecdotal or arbitrary. These are based in science, so I can go through them specifically. I sent them last Thursday, Senator Cummings, around 9:57 a.m. If you should have them, no, last Thursday.
So far behind.
I know, that's okay. As we age, there's reduced liver and kidney functions that process medication. There's increased body fat, decreased body water. So that increases the volume of distribution of drugs like benzodiazepines. That's a mental health drug. It alters brain vulnerability, receptors sensitivity changes. A lot of medications can increase falls and fractures. There's some increased mortality risk as we age, drug-to-drug interactions. So there are certainly age-related medication effects that aren't arbitrary, that are based in science. And the reason for the geriatrics is that a lot of my members actually think 80 is on the older side of what this cap should be. Geriatrics actually is defined at 65, and so having the rotation is still important, because even if you keep the 80 cap, you would have 15 years of potential patients, so you should be educated in geriatrics.
Well, it seemed to me that based on that description, you have some people who are 65 who should be excluded. You have some people probably who are 85 who should not.
You could have someone at 25 that should be
Precisely.
excluded.
And so the
certainly
notion
not a-
is, why do you select an arbitrary date that applies to some people that it shouldn't apply to? And
just to be clear, we don't support this bill, so we did not pick this date.
They would like it, I think, to exclude geriatrics. And where that starts, I don't know, 65? So
65.
We'll have Berlin.
Yeah.
Should clarify, this would prevent certain practitioners from prescribing it, but they would still be able to get these medications if they go to a primary care provider.
Primary care, psychiatry, yes.
Okay. So it's not stopping them from getting these drugs, it's just stopping this channel.
Correct.
the only case has not been made, at least to my satisfaction, that that's a reasonable basis for making that determination. It seems to be arbitrary and somewhat capricious. There are some people who are, as you know, at 78, who aren't entirely, who perhaps fall into a category of exclusion. And there's some people who are 82, 83, 85 who are not.
Okay,
And so I would not support a bill that any more than uses some other means of identification of a person to exclude them from something.
well, we could make the medical society happy and go with excluding geriatrics along with pediatrics.
Well, pediatrics, though, that is a case of right basis based on age of juvenile, where we do have things in law.
But I think geriatrics does too. Senator Duke,
I hear your point, Senator Brock, and I'm very sensitive to the fact that we have a provider shortage in the state, and I think it behooves us to move this bill forward.
at this point, if this is the only objection, I would welcome an amendment to strike, but that would probably get us into a committee of conference. And if we are going to get an amendment, I would welcome a motion.
Well, I'd be happy to make an amendment. I don't know whether anyone else on the committee besides me wants to take the time to do that if you're not in favor of it. Because the amendment would pass.
Could you clarify what the amendment you'd be more comfortable with, just striking the 80, or you like the geriatric?
I would strike that term unless there's some medical reason for it
So you're saying.
that can be done in as arbitrary a fashion as that is done. If you say that a person should not, that the prescriber should not be able to prescribe certain things to individuals who exhibit these features, who have these physiological attributes, who have this type of blood problem as something that is specific to the individual that can be measured and tested, yes, I'd say. On the other hand, I think picking age is just as arbitrary as picking race or gender or anything else.
So if we take geriatric out, that means they
Well,
want.
it says over 80 or 80 or above.
And just so, because we're looking at 17 something. Is that what we're
I'm looking
looking at?
for it, buddy.
Oh, so senators, you're proposing that psychologists be able to prescribe to any age.
Yeah. There, yeah. That's
Any age is appropriate unless there's some medical reason for not doing so.
Okay, this is,
But that's part of the.
Medical reason
determination
could be a
that
blood
would happen.
condition, it could be a lung condition, it could be
Right.
all
But
kinds of
that-
things that
that's-
physicians theoretically can measure that would make that person
Doctor.
unsuitable for that kind of treatment.
Yeah, that's the work of the doctors.
okay,
It's the work they would do.
Senator Gulick's point, I'm just trying to frame this. Right now, it says on page 3, lines 4 and 5, prescribe or discontinue prescription drugs for patients who are less than 18 years of age, over 80 years of age, or pregnant. Would a language that, and I'm gonna look to Stephanie Winters to see if this is something that is at all defined elsewhere. Are you proposing, Senator Brock, that instead of over 80 years of age, instead less than 18 years of age, geriatric? No. Or
Stephanie Winters, Deputy Director of the Vermont Medical Society. What I hear is that he doesn't want any cap.
Any cap?
not
I
even,
don't want any cap that is not measurable. In other words, that is not based on a factual determination, that it's not based on an examination, but that is simply arbitrary and treating people, at the age of 80 differently, because there's some at the age of 80 who have a body of 65. There are others who are at the age of 80 who have a body of 95.
Okay, but it does do 18, which is also arbitrary. There are
But
16-year-olds.
there are people who are
liberated.
juveniles and who can't drive, for example.
That's right.
is geriatric measurable?
Geriatrics is defined as 65 and above.
All right. And I think
Much better.
pediatrics is generally 18, but it's not adult. I'm going to say, I think this is beyond the scope of this committee. This has come to us from Health and Welfare. I understand it's a negotiated agreement between the psychologist and the psychiatrist. And unless we get a votable motion in about 30.
I'll make a motion.
Okay,
To vote on and hopefully successfully pass out of committee draft number 2.1 of H 237.
okay.
February 11th of 2020.
So Senator Laura Gulick has moved that the committee approve H 237 draft number 2.1. Is there any discussion? And then we'll go to any amendments.
Okay, this came to your morning committee,
Yes,
and what was the vote in the morning committee?
you were the.
I was a no.
You were a no?
And I will vote yes here, and I'm feeling now that I've seen, my concern was if you were just a graduate level psychologist, you didn't have access to the full medical, mostly prescription things. It's become clear to me in here that you actually have to be under a psychiatrist and will have access to that full medical record because the psychiatrist is plugged in.
So you're feeling more comfortable?
I'm feeling more comfortable.
Okay,
This issue did not come up in health and welfare per se.
okay.
The geriatric.
All right.
I have a comment for the discussion. I'm going to vote to move this forward, but Senator Brock, I'm very receptive to the point you're making. It does seem a little, I don't know, capricious is too strong a word, but 80 seems either arbitrary or otherwise. But I would encourage you, if you go back to the committee of jurisdiction to health and welfare to propose alternative language, that I would certainly welcome better language that you'd be more comfortable with than at the 80-year old threshold. But I'm fine with it from a finance perspective, so I'm going to vote yes.
Well, I would say that obviously if there is a medical determination, the individual is too old or has a condition that would preclude that type of medication, I would understand it. But to simply pull a number out of the air is exactly the same thing that we've been fighting on when we talk about the judiciary. That's saying a judge at the age of 70 is too old to be a judge.
I did speak with the chair of health and welfare, and she did say that she would support striking that age if that's what we wanted to do.
And I'm striking the age, I'm fine with the bill.
Could I get an amendment?
Sure, I would amend that, I would offer an amendment that the provision regarding the age of 80 be deleted.
Okay, so Senator Brock. Page 3 to you.
So would it read prescribe or discontinue prescription drugs for patients who are less than 18 years of age or pregnant?
Or pregnant.
So we're striking it over.
So we would strike on line 5. The over 80 years of age and leave in the or pregnant. Okay, that is the motion. Senator Brock has moved that on, Bill 237, that on page 3, line 5, we leave in less than 18 years of age, strike out over 80 years of age. So it would read less than 18 years of age or pregnant. That is the motion. Okay, can we get a card for the clerk? Does the clerk have a card? Is the clerk with us?
I sure am.
Okay,
Do we need like a person that actually
this
does
is
a
an
draft?
amendment, so we have a motion to
We
amend.
got
And I'm going-
Draft.
Motion to amend.
Someone's gonna walk through that door in just a minute.
All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, nay.
Nay.
Nay. So I'm calling that, what's 5-2-0 for the amendment.
Well, it was enough.
So was a no. There's
I thought
only,
Senator Harding and Senator Cummings were not.
oh, you were no on the amendment.
Oh,
Okay, now the motion is to approve 237 as amended, and we will have to get Maria down here. No,
Katie.
Katie to do a draft of this. But the motion is to approve H 237 as amended. Is there further discussion?
I don't know, but it was a draft number.
It,
Would it be
there would
1-1?
be two, it'd be 2.1 is amended or 2.3.
Well,
Should-
Health did draft 2.1.
So we're doing 2.2.
So in terms of discussion, I'll just say, I think to Senator Brock's point, the medical determination is going to happen in the, visit with the psychologist and with the collaboration between the psychiatrist and the primary care physician. So I do think that is.
Sure, it'd be a medical determination based on the individual being examined.
Okay.
There's nothing.
And that's
Sorry,
okay.
I'm sorry. Okay, psychiatrist.
Psychiatrist. All right. On this one, which we will call 2.3,
2.3 or 2.2?
2.2 as amended or 2.3, I'm not sure what the drafter is going to call it. It is 2.1 as amended, striking the phrase over 80 years of age. And Charlotte has blacked that out. We're getting it. We're almost, there we go. The commas will stay in, or one of them will stay in.
Leave the space.
All right.
Leave one of the spaces there
Spaces in the comma. Is that an Oxford comma? Never.
after age. There you go.
Stop with the Oxford comments. All right. Is there further
And
discussion?
the comma has to go out after age.
That's what I
Yes.
thought, but.
We're keeping one comma in.
No.
Or not,
No,
maybe
both commas
not.
go.
No, or pregnant.
And just
No
space.
Forget the commas. That's why we have editors.
Gosh, you guys, it's kind of.
Oh, come on, guys. Is there further discussion?
We struck that and that was what we had now.
Yes,
Great.
we have struck that phrase over 80 years of age. Further amendment, if not, the clerk will call the roll.
Senator Chittenden.
Yep.
Senator Beck.
Yes.
Senator Hardy.
Yes.
Senator Brock.
Yes.
Senator Gulick.
Yes.
Senator Meadows. Yes. Senator Cummings.
Yes,
It's a strong 7-0-0.
okay. Senator Brock, I'm gonna. report this.
What's that?
Rob is reporting it.
Oh.
You're reporting it for
For this
finance.
committee,
Yeah, yeah.
that's it,
Okay.
it's the striking.
Got it.
We found no fees in it. All right. We now need to send a note, that,
Come to us in the first place. It's just a regular.
okay, the
function.
committee, that is what we have on the
So,
agenda for today.
Why does it come to us in the first place if there are no fees?
Because we're contemplating future fee.
Yeah, this is about the third one this year that the Secretary of the Senate has sent. Because it implied that there might be fees in the future. Yeah, we've there were 3 bills back. There was a bill. Why we got some of the bills regarding milk, I don't know. The other one, 190, we went through last Friday. There's a lot of energy planning stuff in that. I've asked if that.
House Bill 190.
Yeah, it's 190. 940. 940.
Okay.
Had the right numbers. I've asked them if they'd like to take a look at it, because we haven't done energy planning. We have utilities is in our jurisdiction. But we really haven't done much in energy planning.
Well, the 10-year telecommunications plan is an example of where we
That's
go on
the-
planning.
That's a utility.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have them look at it from the environmental perspective. I will keep possession. I know that the chair of health and welfare would like to look at 585. I'm not gonna give up possession of that either, but I would anticipate that.
Is that the one we went through today?
Yeah. And there's implications in some of those things for the health transformation that we're going through. We seem to be on 2 tracks, probably because there's 2 committees of jurisdiction in the House. They have Human Services and Healthcare. So this came from Healthcare. And what is the other one? I think that's it. The Education Committee is going to look at sections of the Yield Bill. Apparently there's things on special ed in there and 1 or 2 other things, because I asked the Secretary of the Senate, why did the tax bill go there? As soon as they finish, it will come to us. And Senator Bongartz has sent me a message saying they will work it out in due haste.
They should not. I'm just looking at it right now. This is clearly ours.
It's
Even the section that the secretary claims is the reason he sent it there is, it's
he
a
said it
finance.
will come to us, but the secretary said, we don't have to ask for it. It will automatically come to us.
I will respectfully
I-
disagree
I
with the secretary on this call.
do too, but oh,
Oh, you are wrong, Mr. Secretary.
oh, you heard her
Say your name again.
Yield bill was an education.
Oh. Yield bill had 5 sections. Usually your yield bill is just 1 section. This one did a number of other things, including subject to appropriations. Section 5 talks about special ed and grant amounts. And it seemed like if that was by itself, it might go to ed. So given that it goes by Rule 31 to here, it comes afterward to here and appropriations. The reason it probably did not go to ed over on the other side is it was a committee bill that was introduced by Ways and Means rather than a bill that went into play or begin. That's why. And nothing to make everybody happy, I'm sorry, but it just seems that there was that section. You guys will not miss your review, and your rule allowed you to review everything in a bill under Act 31. It's one of my favorite provisions. I never had the honor of serving on finance, but I think it's special in the rules when it comes here by Rule 31. You can change anything in the bill.
Including the age of somebody.
But speaking of that, I assume you're here looking for a bill, and we voted out 237.
I just wanted to know if Senator Brock wanted me to order him dinner while he waits for the amendment. Or did you not want it in the calendar to tomorrow?
I don't, if,
We can push it off again.
yeah, if we can't get Katie, we'll just put it on the day.
That's fine. That's why I came back to find out what your
Yeah.
intent was.
I
Because
don't,
we will, as you know, we'll wait. You tell us to wait, but
No,
I
I
have to
don't.
wait till the end.
this is not one of those, and if Katie's is booked, is Katie's booked. We can,
We'll do irreparable harm though if we wait a day.
yeah,
I don't wanna see.
I think this may get us into a committee of conference. The medical society was not happy that I left.
I'll have to go back and watch the tape.
But nobody's gonna be happy, I think, by the time we finish here. And yeah, the yield bill, the yield has gone on miscellaneous tax before. I mean, it's like one sentence, the yield is. But it also gets decorated, or sometimes it's a decoration.
Did it come over like this? You had
Yeah.
below.
So we'll get that, but we are gonna have enough. There is another tax bill headed our way, I understand.
It's, it'll probably be referred to tomorrow. It's a pretty tab. It's like 50 pages.
So between that and the 585, we are gonna have our hands full.
Anything else you need from me?
No,
Perfect. Let me know.
thank you. Okay. Then we are done. We are off.